Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS25 Let's Map video. In this video we make some progress on my map Sommerfeld, and before we work together I'll show you what I did in the last days on this map. Yeah, here you can see the image, the screenshot that I took when I prepared that map in FS22 still. So maybe you remember that I prepared the map as far as I could go and as far as I had time. And yeah, and now I'm bringing it to FS25, but it was never really far. So this was the most progress you could see, but the map was still very, very far from finished. And it is still very, very far from being finished. And what you can see here, all those poplars, probably they will never come to the map because we don't have poplars in FS25. And I find that really, really sad because I like poplars. But I just wanted to show this to you, and now we go into the game. And I'm nearly as far now as I have been in my preparation stage, but not yet there. And then the most of the work is still laying ahead of me. But you can see the main farm. And this is already working. It's not finished, but yeah. We have a farmhouse and we have some barns and so. And my map Sommerfeld is a German map. And I'm also working on an American map, but right now the Sommerfeld has the higher priority because I already made an American map, and we have Riverbend Springs and Silver Run Forest. And yeah, the game is lacking with German maps, and therefore I think this is more urgent. Yeah, here we have an area that is not yet done at all. Here we will have a cow barn, and I think I will modify the wooden cow barns that we have in FS25. This cow barn, and we have a sheep barn and a pig barn of the same type, and I will make the wood darker, and for the cows there will be milk and liquid fertilizer and such. That's my plan for the cow barn, and here we will have the cow pasture. And there is a space for a garden. In the beginning I thought I want to provide a huge garden, like I have on 4 fields, the biggest garden. But then I thought, no, on 4 fields it's good, because 4 fields is all about massive quantities, and therefore you need a huge garden. But here this map is more for small and medium-sized farming, cozy and such. And such a huge garden wouldn't be good for the start, only for some players. And I thought I will leave the area rather open with a meadow, probably, that you could place a huge garden, but I myself will place an allotment garden, so much smaller and with decoration and so that it looks rather cozy, and you can still grow quite a lot of crops, but not as many. The huge garden is like a money printing machine, and not all players would like it, I think. I guess the majority of players wouldn't like it. And therefore, yeah, it's up to you to have a big garden there, but the small garden is much more cozy and homely, and so what I want to accomplish with this map. And I'm planning on having apple trees here. That's why I finished my apple tree mod rather fast. And I'm planning on having 2 sets of 4 apple trees here. So here one set with 4 apple trees and here. And then you can produce apples. And maybe there will be the apple juice production. Something like that. Yeah, and as you can see, this is still an idea and not yet done. And yeah, maybe we drive a little bit and then we can see the overall map, and I want to show you something at the edge of the map. And for this reason I already prepared a tractor. And before, when I designed the map, or maybe we could just enjoy the view to the little village, and there is a lake and such, and the mountains are already outside of the map. And yeah, before I had small dirt roads between all the fields, and then I thought, no, I would rather have some rows of trees and bushes like here, like so, and those rows with trees, they look nice and they give the whole landscape a more lush feeling. That is one thing. And yeah, when you drive like that with a rather big distance from the tractor, what I like to do, but you have an overview over the whole map, and so the map feels small, and it is a complete standard size map, so it's not a small map. But because you can see everything, it feels small. And then I thought, okay, when I have quite a lot of those rows with trees and bushes, which is normal, so in our area and a lot of other areas where I have looked, how does it look in the nature, and there are always those tree rows, and they are very good for against erosion, because the wind breaks in those tree rows, and yeah, the birds, they live there, and the insects live there, and we have deers in those tree rows between the fields, and therefore I wanted to have quite a lot of them. Not too many, but yeah, every other field or in between field area, I want to have those tree rows. And I see them everywhere when I'm driving around Germany with the train and I look out of the window, I see those tree rows everywhere. And here they look a little bit sparsely or thin, not enough trees. That is because of the distance, and the trees disappear maybe I will add some more trees with a longer distance view, because if I look like that, it looks like a lot of single trees and not like a row. And yeah, I will have a look at it and watch this. Yeah, and then here are dirt rows. That will be a dirt road between the fields, and maybe I make some bushes beside the fields, that it is not so empty looking. And yeah, the village is nicest from far away right now. Therefore, we won't go to the village right now, because when you are at the village, it doesn't look nice yet. And it will be very nice, I hope. And here is an area that I prepared for productions and selling stations and such. And yeah, as you can see, it's still very much in the beginning. And now we drive to the harbor. And the harbor will have a big selling station where you can sell more or less everything. Oh, and you can see the boat or the ship. I think it's a ship. Yeah, and it comes regularly, and it drives away and then it comes back. And I like to have a ship selling station where we have a landing stage, I think is the word for it, and yeah, the ship comes and goes, and we can sell more or less everything to those ships. And yeah, it's not a mechanism. The ships just, they circle around, but we have a selling station here. And I guess this harbor looks a little bit too big. We will see how it will be in the end. And let's have a look whether we can see the tractors. What we see here, this everything is already outside of the map. And I took quite a lot of time to make a nice map surrounding, because that gives the map a feeling as if it was bigger than it is. And so I have several small villages that are just decorative and you can't go there. We are more or less at the edge of the map here. And everything that we see is outside of the map. And do you see the little tractor there on the field? And those are decorative tractors. And I prepared them before the release of FS25, because I thought all the time that I put into the background area can be used in FS25, and everything that I work on the map itself might be difficult to use, and that's true. So the background area I could take, and everything's working, and even my little tractors there, and they have the same size than the normal tractor, but they are far away, and they are low poly models. So they are no farm sim models, but very, very low poly, and therefore they don't cost much performance, and they just drive around. Now it disappeared behind behind. Now here it comes again. And so if you stand here, you can see the tractors working every now and then. We have tractors here. There we also have tractors. Here we have another of those ships. And at the other side of the map, just over there, we have even more tractors out of the map. And I'm so delighted that it worked, so I just had to bring it into FS25 and it worked. And that's really amazing. And in the distance we can have poplars, but not on the map, which is so sad. Yeah, and here this will still be a little bit tricky, because the U-turn that it has to take is not so easy. So here it's okay. And then I have to make a landing stage, maybe somewhere where we are standing here. And it shouldn't cut into the landing stage. So I have to tweak it, I guess. But it's already driving back and forth, and I'm quite happy with this. And I, for myself, I can imagine how this map will be. Yeah, but there will be hundreds and maybe thousands of hours that I have to put into that. Okay, now I leave the game and we meet each other back in the Giants editor. So here we are. And I told you about those tree rows. And when I see this, yeah, there should be more trees, I guess. I will do this. Because like that, even from close by, when we see all the trees, they are too far away and the bushes are too small compared to the trees. So more trees are needed. Yeah, what I want to do with you is make one of those tree bush rows. And I think in this area they are more or less all done. Here I will add some more, I guess. But here we have at least one that is already prepared. Let's take that one. And yeah, as you can see, here we have the roads with its gravel part of it, and they will change, so they will look more like dirt roads. But right now we have those to see, okay, this is a road. And when we go further away, you see there is a different green tone in between the areas where we don't have a dirt road. And so this is a different grass texture. And I made it to have an easy job with the bushes. And I show you how it works. This is not, I showed you this wood magic, and I don't use the wood magic ARCA procedural placement. For this one, this is an old-time basic technique to do things like that. So not from 100 years ago, but from 3 years ago. So I go into the foliage mode and I choose a bush. Let's take the common bush. And I limit it to texture. And I choose grass, dirt, stone 1. And this texture here that you can only see when we are further zoomed out, this consists of grass dirt stones 1 and 2 mixed together. And that is a trick to let them look not so tiled. This is built in Farming Simulator, this trick. And I can use this to somehow separate them to place it more irregular. So maybe it's around here. I just place it. And as you can see, those bushes here, they are not placed everywhere. And here again. So we have some irregularity. And the grass dirt stones 2 is, so to say, the other area. And we will use this also. And like that, I can just paint bushes and it looks irregular. Before, in up to FS22, we had 4 different textures that were combined together to one. So we even had a bigger variety, and now we only have 2, but it's still possible to make something that doesn't look like a fence or so. So, and they all look placed rather irregular. And now I choose some different ones. Maybe witch hazel, and I take the dirt stones too. And now I play. Oh, this is too big. You don't see the other ones anymore. So rather, let's try number 1. Yeah, that's better. They have more or less the same size. And so those fill up the gaps, more or less. And like that, it's rather easy to paint a row with bushes, with 2 different kinds of bushes. That looks rather natural. It's not the nicest bush row of the world, not at all. And we will keep on working on this. But it's a good beginning. So if you see this, you have 2 different types of bushes. And they are not one here, one here, one here, but they are somehow scrambled a little bit. Okay, now I change this method and I don't limit it to one part of this combined texture anymore. And I choose my favorite bush, the dynamite. I'm really into this dynamite. And this is the one with the red flowers in spring. And now it gets a little bit tricky because sometimes I click and I don't get one. But here you can see it. And I really like it. And so when I don't get one, I make undo, because then it deletes the, oh, no, and it happens often to this. I have the undo button on my Stream Deck, and when my thumb gets a little bit nervous, sometimes it removes things that I don't want removed. Is this too far away? No, I think it's acceptable. Because they don't have collision, and therefore it doesn't matter if they are too close to a field. Okay. Maybe here, no. Yes, like so. And you can see there's always one disappearing and no big bush comes, and then I have to remove it. Because I don't like too many of those bare spaces where nothing grows. So, no, one more. Yes, okay. And now one last type, and I take the winged sumac, and this is my second favorite bush. It's less complicated than this dynamite, because most of the time when I click, I get one. And it looks nice. So it's really nice and bushy. And when you go there, it is rather high. It's not as high as a tree, but let's say nearly as high as a very small tree. And the good thing with those bushes is if you don't like them, you can just go and paint them away. Then they disappear very easy. That is not the case with the trees. Yeah, but this map is not for people who want to play on huge fields. You can combine a lot of trees, so like those could be combined, and here you can combine them, all together. And so if you really want, you can make yourself huge trees, but the whole system of the map is not meant for big agriculture. It's small up to medium size. And I won't put stones in your way against combining fields, not at all. But at some places I will put trees in the way, because I really find it necessary that there are those tree rows, that it just looks nicer, and you get this immersion of how areas that I want to show here look like, and it's much more cozy with those trees. Okay, so now I just copy a tree row from over there, and I call it between fields west. West, yes. And we just bring it here. This is just an assortment of trees, so to say. And now we place them all manually. So the really old-fashioned way. And later, when I don't record a video, I will make those tree rows a little bit denser, because I think they are not dense enough. So, and I just change the way they are standing right now, so that I don't have the same sorting of trees in every of those rows. So, the golden rain. So this is a smaller one. And as you can see, there are not so many trees. But to be honest, to cut them all down would be quite some work. But I guess there are mods out now that makes this task easy. Yeah, and if you don't wanna cut trees down to combine the fields, you could just play on my map 4 fields. There you have huge fields. And therefore, I think it's okay to have some tree-like barriers. And I won't make them everywhere. Yeah. Maybe I should place some bird sounds where I have those tree rows, because that would be, yeah, like in reality. We have a lot of birds that live in those tree rows in between the fields. And did I told you that we have deers? Sometimes when I'm driving with my bicycle around the fields, what I do every day, sometimes there are deers emerging from those tree rows, but they are a little bit wider and denser than that what I'm building here. Okay, so now we have worked on a little part of my map Sommerfeld. I think it will be only in the German translation, because it will be the name of the village, this Sommerfeld, and it means summer field. And yeah, I will keep on working. I will keep on building the buildings that I need for this map, and all the buildings that I make will come out as separate mods. And yeah, and then I work and work and work, and I hope it doesn't take too long to finish the map. If you want to buy FS25 or a DLC, feel free to use my code OMATANA. You'll find the link for the PC version in the video description. It doesn't cost you anything extra and supports me a lot. Now I wish you a wonderful day, thank you for watching, and all the best till next time. Tschüss!